Okay, let's talk about something that affects millions of people, but is so often surrounded by a ton of anxiety and just bad advice. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We've pulled together expert guidance from a urologist and a veteran adult film performer to give you a complete guide on how to last longer. And right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. If this is something you're dealing with, you are so not alone, not even close. You know, studies show that up to 40% of men struggle with this at some point in their lives, which actually makes it one of the most common sexual dysfunctions out there. So let's drop the stigma and get right into the solutions. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to define what we're actually talking about. Then we'll dive into the powerful link between your mind and your body. After that, we'll get into the really practical stuff, actionable techniques you can use. We'll also look at some medical and product aids, and then we'll finish up with what might just be the most important tool you have, your partnership. All right, so section 1. What exactly is premature ejaculation? I mean, it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, so let's lock in a clear definition so we're all on the same page. You know, PE isn't just about a stopwatch. Sure, some doctors might define it as lasting somewhere between 1 and 3 minutes, but the most crucial part of this definition, the part that really matters, is that feeling of having no control and the distress it causes. It's the feeling about the experience that truly defines it. And this is where the mental game gets really tough, right? The whole experience can be so demoralizing that it creates this vicious cycle of performance anxiety. You start worrying it's going to happen again, and then that anxiety itself makes it more likely to happen. It's a tough loop to break. So if we want to find the right solutions, we first have to understand the causes. And you know what? It's rarely just one thing. It's almost always a combination of what's happening physically and psychologically. So on the physical side, you can see things like hormone levels or just heightened sensitivity can be a factor. But then you look at the psychological causes over on the right, and this is often where the real battle is. Stress from work, from money, from life, depression, relationship issues, and of course, that performance anxiety we just talked about. This quote from a professional performer just says it all, doesn't it? So much of this is mental. Before you can get a handle on your body, you really have to get a handle on your mind. Okay, let's get to the part I know you've been waiting for. We're going to dive into the practical, actionable techniques you can start using to build real control and stamina. These are often the first line of defense, and honestly, they can be incredibly effective. First up, we've got the classic stop-start method. I want you to think of this like training at the gym for your body's responses. It's all about learning to recognize that point of no return and then teaching your body to step back from it. You get close to the edge, you stop everything, let that intense feeling fade, and then you start again. You can practice this alone or with a partner. And here's that exact same idea, but applied in a way that's totally focused on your partner. Instead of just a hard stop, you're redirecting all that energy. By pulling out to focus on your partner, you keep that intimacy and momentum going while still giving your own body the reset it needs. It's a win-win. Okay, this next number is absolutely staggering. One study found that practicing diaphragmatic breathing, I'm talking about those deep from the belly breaths, can increase your time to ejaculation by up to 900%. Seriously. It's a super low risk, super high reward technique that helps you regulate your body's stress response right in the moment. Now, beyond breathing, there are other powerful tools for your toolkit. You've got things like the squeeze method or edging. They're all about learning your body's cues. And believe it or not, even things like HIIT workouts or just starting out in a position where you feel more in control can make a huge difference because they increase that all-important mind-body awareness. All right, so moving beyond behavioral techniques, there are also some external aids that can help. Let's take a look at the landscape of over-the-counter products and prescription medications that are used to help manage PE. There are a few different levels here. First, you've got topical products, right? Things like numbing creams or sprays, or even thicker condoms, which just reduce the physical sensitivity. Then you've got prescription meds, which are often used off-label. Now what that means is they were actually designed for something else, like SSRIs for depression, but they have a known side effect of delaying ejaculation. And sometimes, if PE is linked to ED, treating the ED can actually solve both problems at once. Okay, a really critical warning about those desensitizing products. They can transfer to your partner and numb them too, which is obviously not what you want. This is where communication is just non-negotiable. Let them know you're using it and make sure to wash it off so it doesn't get in the way of their pleasure. And that brings us to what might just be the single most powerful factor in all of this. It's not a technique, It's not a product, it's the person you're with. Open communication and focusing on mutual pleasure can completely reframe the entire experience. This quote right here, it completely shifts your focus. When the goal becomes making sure your partner is satisfied first, it takes a ton of pressure off of your own performance. It totally changes the finish line from being your orgasm to theirs. And man, that can be a huge mental relief. So, what does this partner playbook actually look like in practice? Well, it means prioritizing their pleasure first with lots of foreplay. It means lowering the pressure, realizing that amazing sex isn't some kind of marathon, and intercourse is just one part of the whole experience. When you shift the focus from performance to partnership, everybody wins. And this really just brings it all home. Trying to hide the issue or solve it in secret, that just adds more anxiety to the pile. But when you bring your partner into the conversation, they become part of the solution. They can help you slow down, they can suggest changing positions. You become a team. So let's wrap this up with the key takeaways. First, and most importantly, remember this is incredibly common and it is manageable. Second, be patient with yourself. Whatever approach you try, consistency is what's going to get you results, and it might take weeks or even months. Third, the best strategy is usually a mix of mental and physical techniques. And finally, the most important point of all, talk to your partner. So we'll leave you with this final thought. We've talked about how something as simple as breathing and changing your mindset can fundamentally change your physical response. It really makes you wonder, while techniques and products can definitely help, is the real key to unlocking control already there inside your own head? Thanks for tuning in.